Hey everyone, it's Jacqueline. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, subscribe because I post a new video every single week. So recently on Instagram, I did post a poll because I wanted you guys to decide what my next video is going to be. I really wanted it to be a mental health video, either how to ask for help or how to cope with anxiety, and majority of you guys chose how to cope with anxiety, but I will eventually do how to ask for help. I just wanted to know which one you guys wanted to see first. So yeah, this video is going to be on how to cope with anxiety. So my problem with these kind of videos is that I always feel like I'm gonna be too cheesy, and I think that has something to do with how our society has been glorifying anxiety a lot. Like, I get that people can make jokes about it, and I know that some people actually have anxiety, but it's just the fact that anxiety is such a broad topic. There's so much that goes into it. There's so many different types of anxieties, and it's just hard to talk about it when it's all jumbled up into one topic. So I'm gonna make sure that I'm being very specific for this type of video, and I'm really sorry if I sound cheesy. I'm gonna try not to. Okay, so just to give you guys a disclaimer, yes, I will be talking about anxiety, but to be more specific, I'm going to be talking about social anxiety and panic disorder that comes with social anxiety. Personally, that's the type of anxiety that I've experienced in the past, so I feel like that's the best topic for me to give advice on. Alright, first of all, I want to share with you guys the difference between social anxiety disorder and panic disorder. Social anxiety disorder is the extreme fear of social interaction. They are often worried about what people think of them, if they're going to be judged, left out, humiliated, and more. They may suffer from panic disorder as a result from being in social situations. And then panic disorder is usually associated with panic attacks that start out of nowhere without warning. People feel intense fear, and it can come with chest pains, heart palpitations, dizziness, and shortness of breath. So basically, people who have panic disorder, it usually stems from having social anxiety. So there are going to be 3 parts to this video. First, I'm going to tell you what you can do for long-term effects that can help you with your anxiety. Then I'm going to talk about what you can do when you're having an anxiety attack / panic attack. And then lastly, I just want to give you guys some important takeaways. For this one, they're all pretty much self-explanatory, so I'm not going to explain too much into depth on these ones as much as I will for when I talk about how to deal with a panic attack or anxiety attack. Number 1, eat well-balanced meals. You need to have food in your body. It's fuel. It gives you energy. Sometimes you're grumpier, more tired or upset or negative when you don't have a balanced meal and you're not taking care of your body, so that's something that you can do in the long term to help your anxiety. 2, limit alcohol and caffeine. Alcohol, not a good coping mechanism, and then for caffeine, it gets you hyper, and I've never been into caffeine, so I don't know how much it could affect it, but I know from other people I've heard that caffeine makes their anxiety attacks more intense because their mind is racing. Number 3, get enough sleep. You need to get enough sleep. It goes hand in hand with the well-balanced meals because it's all a part of taking care of your body. In the past, the less sleep I got, the more tired I was, the more irritated I was, the more I would have anxiety attacks. Number 4 is exercise often. Again, just taking care of your body, getting your blood pumped up, feeling adrenaline. Sometimes that could also be like a distraction for some people. It's also working on yourself. Just make sure you're doing it in a healthy way. Number 5 is find a hobby, and that's exactly why I'm here, is because my hobby is YouTube. I love making videos. It's a way for me to throw in all of my creative ideas or connect with other people. Other ideas could be painting, hiking, writing, fashion, makeup, music, dance. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you can try out, and you're less likely to have anxiety in situations where you feel comfortable or you feel like you're doing something that you love. Number 6 is take a break on social media. There's so many things that are going on social media. I want to do a completely separate video for this topic because the amount of toxicity that is on the internet right now is just like unreal. It can damage your self-worth, cause depression, or give you anxiety because you're worried about how people are perceiving you. So yeah, maybe just limit your time or take a break or delete an app or just unfollow people that trigger anything inside of you. And the last one, number 7, is find a purpose in life. So notice how I said a purpose and not the purpose, because not everybody has one specific purpose. All of ours is different. We just need to find it. And you can do things like meditation, you can get into astrology, you can get into religion, anything that's going to help you self-reflect on why you're here and why you deserve to be on this planet. Okay, so those are things that you can apply to your life for long-term effects. But what about when you're currently experiencing an anxiety attack slash panic attack? Okay, so I feel like not a lot of people think about this, but one thing that I've learned from experience of having many anxiety attacks is to, number one, be prepared. By being prepared, I mean that you're kind of thinking of the worst possible situation. I don't mean think of the worst case scenario to psych yourself out into social situations. For example, a long time ago, I went to this event when my social anxiety was really bad, and I actually put together my little emergency anxiety kit, and I had tissues in there. I had a little bit of makeup in there just in case of, you know, my makeup got ruined. I had a little brush in there to clean up my hair just in case if it got messed up. I also had wipies because whenever I had a panic attack or anxiety attack, my eyes would swell up, and I would use the wipies because they were cold and it would like make me feel better. I don't know. Whatever you guys think helps you through anxiety attacks, pack it all up into one bag. Another thing I did to prepare myself was I did kind of a little research on the place I was going to, or when I got there I would right away find out, okay, where's the bathroom just in case if I have an attack? Is there anyone that's going to be there that I fully trust that I can go to? Or is there any way I can leave this situation? Like, do I have a ride to leave early? Just things like that helped me feel better because I felt prepared. That way, if anything actually happened, I was prepared. I knew where to go. I knew my surroundings, and basically I didn't feel stuck. I feel like that's what gave me anxiety the most, is that I always felt stuck. So I think it's nice to have the option like, okay, I can leave because I have a ride, or I can go to the bathroom, or anything else that you know will reduce your anxiety. Number two, take a breather. So this is assuming that you are already at the event or you're around people and you're experiencing an attack and it's slowly coming. This is more so for social anxiety attacks rather than like panic attacks because those come out of nowhere. But when you feel like it's coming up slowly and you know it's like building up, you can do this on the spot, or you can just like leave and do it on your own depending on how intense it is. But sometimes you just need to keep yourself in check and just kind of breathe. I know it sounds a little cheesy, but it honestly does work, and there's a lot of breathing techniques that you can find on the internet that suit you. I know for me, I close my eyes sometimes when I was like trying to breathe before I had an attack. That way it's the only thing I can focus on. It's kind of related to meditation. That's another thing you guys can try to do, is to kind of meditate a little in your head, or you can just go alone and meditate on your own. Instead of trying to figure out how to get rid of the anxiety, try to figure out how you can control the anxiety. And that's where the breathing comes in. Number three is have a conversation with your body. This one helps me a lot. I talk to myself all the time when I'm having anxiety, especially an anxiety attack, because it helps me become more in tune with my body and what's happening, especially when you're at social events. But I know that's harder to do when you're at social events because there's so many distractions, there's so many people that might be trying to talk to you. Something that I do sometimes is I'll go on my notes app and I'll just start typing out all of my feelings. And it's not like a weird thing to do because people might just think that you're on your phone or you're texting someone, so it looks normal. But there's been so many situations where I'm just like typing out everything. And I think I have like some notes from a long time ago. So this is just an example of what you guys can write down in your notes. I put, I feel an anxiety attack right now. I'm having a lot of hard breathing, shortness of breath. I recognize that I'm having trouble trying to breathe regularly. I'm feeling this way because I don't hang out with friends often, and when I do, I usually drown in my anxiety. This is a physical feeling that is happening in my body. My physical feeling should not affect my mental feeling. I am fine and I'm having a good time. I am grateful for all the friends I have right now. God is with me. He's in my chest and he's telling me that I've been through this before and I can get through it again. It's all in my head. I can control it. God is more powerful than any mental feeling. He can get rid of my anxiety. Remember all of the good things he did for me. He gave me a whole new perspective on life. And as you can see, just from typing, I went from super negative thoughts to recognizing what's in my body to now focusing on the positives, all through writing that down. I didn't even intend for it to go towards positive thoughts. It just naturally went through there because sometimes with people, they feel better when they write it down. And once you get everything out, you can shift how you're feeling without even knowing. So yeah, like I said, don't run away from it. Just accept that you are experiencing anxiety. Number four is find out what you can control. So this is pretty much based on the situation that you are in. There's no specific thing that I can tell you guys. When we have anxiety, it's often because we don't feel like we're in control. So instead of being worried about what you can't control in the future, start to focus on what you can control right now. For example, a while ago I had an anxiety attack because I was really worried about my future. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I didn't know if I was going in the right direction, and it was just so much anxiety piled up on top of each other that I eventually had an anxiety attack. And I realized, like, okay, what can I do now? What is in my control now? I can take my classes. I can do research on looking up jobs that I'm interested in. I can continue to do things that I'm passionate about. That way I know what I love to do do or what I want to do for the rest of my life. So yeah, this one is a little more broad. It's not as specific because everybody is different, but that's just an example of a situation where I was able to focus on the things that I can control. Number 5 is seek company. Okay, so a lot of the times this one doesn't really help me as much, but I know that it helps a lot of people, is that when someone's there for you so that way you don't feel alone. So let's say you're having an anxiety attack, maybe you can look towards the person that you trust. Like I said in number 1, be prepared. Make sure there's someone there that you can trust or you can talk to. That way if this happens, you can go to them if you need to, because sometimes you just need someone there with you, or you need someone like rubbing your back or telling you that everything's going to be okay. You just need that support. Usually when I was going through anxiety and having anxiety attacks, I didn't really like to be with anyone because then I couldn't really focus on it. I like to just deal with it on my own, but there were lots of times where I did have to call my boyfriend or go to my mom or just talk to someone about it so I don't feel alone. Having that extra support makes a huge difference, trust me. Number 6 is distract yourself. I've been talking about a lot of ways to cope with it, but sometimes when you know that it's nonsense and you realize like, okay, I'm just having an attack, I need to stop thinking this way, I know it's all in my head. Once you've had that full self-awareness of what you're going through, sometimes you just need to distract yourself. You don't really want to think about it. There are so many ways you can distract yourself. You can focus on an object, you can kind of scroll on your phone a little bit, think about what you have to do over the weekend, like, okay, maybe I need to do my chores, or maybe I have this homework assignment, or you can try the 3-3-3 thing. I forgot what it is, but I think it's like when you point out 3 things you see, 3 things you smell, and 3 things that you can feel. I've honestly never tried that one, but I know that it's really popular and a lot of people have tried it and they say that it works. So if you want, you could try that one. I know there's just, it depends on the situation you're in. Like if you're at a party, I'll just focus on the palms of my hand, like the lines right here, or I'll pretend that I'm a psychic and I'll be like, oh, is this the lifeline? Like let me pretend that I'm doing like a reading on my palm. Just anything, it sounds dumb, but like anything that will distract you. Once you have worked on your anxiety a little more and you're aware of what's going on, it's very healthy to kind of distract yourself after you're aware of what's going on, because sometimes distracting yourself can make it a little worse because you're kind of pushing off your anxiety. But in other situations, when you've accepted that you're having one and you just want to distract yourself, that's a different story. I feel like that helps you. Number 7 is leave the situation. Of course, if it's somewhere where you can leave. Like if it's causing you anxiety, then just get out of there. You don't have to feel like you're stuck in there. If you have to lie to get out of there, that's fine. Do what you have to do to help yourself. You can tell someone like, oh, I'm not feeling good, I feel sick, or my mom called me and I have to go home, sorry guys, I gotta leave early. You don't owe an explanation to anyone, and honestly, it's not even their business. You don't have to tell them what you're feeling if you don't want to. It's good to face your fears and branch out and do things that you normally wouldn't do because of your anxiety, but once you're in this situation and you are having anxiety and it's really bad, just leave. You don't have to stay there. If you're able to get out, get out. Again, that's why for number 1 I put be prepared, because when I was dealing with my anxiety, I didn't put myself in situations where I know I couldn't leave, because again, I didn't want to feel stuck. Okay, so now moving on to important takeaways, I just wanted to say a few things before this video ends. Just an end note to leave you guys off on. So number 1 is you're not alone. I know this sounds really cheesy, but there are so many people that go through anxiety and they deal with it differently. One thing that made my anxiety worse was I would look at the people all around me and I would compare myself to them. I would always think like, oh my god, I wish I could be like them. I wish I could be social. I wish I didn't have to deal with all this. I wish I could just be normal. But little did I know that a lot of those people in the future went up to me and said that they were dealing with anxiety, and I had no idea. And it went both ways too. They had no idea that I went through anxiety. They looked at me and they're like, wow, I would have never thought that you went through anxiety because you look so social and outgoing. And just to let you guys know, I don't have social anxiety as bad as I did like 2 or 3 years ago. It's actually almost like completely gone now, but I know a few years ago I felt completely alone. I thought I was the only one that was going through it. So it's just good to give yourself a reality check where it's like, okay, I know that I'm not the only person that's feeling like this right now. Number 2 is keep trying. If you are in a situation and you got an anxiety attack, don't think like, okay, I'm never gonna put myself in that situation ever again. I'm never gonna do that because it triggers my anxiety. While that necessarily may be true in some cases, I feel like overall, you should just keep trying. Don't give up going to parties just because you had an anxiety attack at a party. Keep on trying, just do it in baby steps. Little by little, you'll start to see progress the more you get yourself in these situations, because the more that it happens, the more you learn on how you can cope with it. And that's the last takeaway I wanted you guys to get from this, which is number 3, coping skills vary. Not everything I said in this video is going to help you guys cope with your anxiety. Maybe nothing I said in this video is going to help you. My list can give you a start, it can give you a base on how you can cope with it, but the only way you're truly going to figure out how to cope with your anxiety is if you figure it out on your own. I know that defeats the whole purpose of this video, but I just wanted to let you guys know that coping with anxiety is so specific that you can't find the answer in videos. You can find like the overall idea of what to do when you're having anxiety, but unless you keep putting yourself in those situations and you keep working on yourself, you keep reflecting, that's when you're going to find out what really works for you, and that's how you're going to get stronger. You're going to learn so much about yourself, and eventually it's going to get better. That's what people mean when they say that things will get better in the future. So one last thing that I want to let you guys know is that it is going to get better. I know you've heard that millions of times and you're thinking like, when is it going to get better? But trust me, if you're working on yourself and you keep trying and you keep getting up, it's going to feel like forever and it's going to feel like there's no way out. But I believe in you guys and I know you guys can do it. You just have to stay strong, but I know you guys can do it. I love you guys so much. I hope this video helped. Like, this is a very important video, probably one of the most important videos on my channel. So I really hope that I at least helped one person, because that's all that matters. I just want to help at least someone. Leave a like down below if you guys want to see more mental health videos. I love doing these types of videos. And if you want, you can comment down below what video you guys want to see next. Also, if you want to be a part of future polls, you can follow my Instagram, which is right here, or it's down in the description. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.